Hello, welcome to week 3 of The Artist's Way. I'm here to report what's been going on since I started this 12-week course. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible because there's a lot of little points I do want to mention. So, week 3, chapter 3 was about recovering a sense of power. I really enjoyed this chapter. Shame, the topic of shame was brought up, shame around creativity and just in general, like people in your life that have shamed you or are currently shaming you and you're not even aware of it. So it really brought to light and it gave you the opportunity in this chapter to identify who are those people in your life or have been in your life in the past that have shamed you, and you feel this really your nervous system, your whole body just feels it and knows it, and it affects your ability to manifest anything creative in your own life. So that was a really cool, there was one of those exercises allowed me to identify who those people are that have shamed me, and has allowed me to just recognize it and begin to create boundaries and be mindful of the people I choose to share my dreams with, because not everyone is very supportive. One, because most likely people that are not supportive were never supported in their own life, and it's not really because they're spiteful or they're jealous, although there are those people. It's mainly because people don't know that response or that way of being with other people because they never received it for themselves. So I love the topic around shame. Another cool exercise I enjoyed here was about identifying people that you admire, identifying those traits about them that you admire, why you admire them, and then there's something about your own ideas of what you admire within you that you already have, or you're trying to like ignite within you when you see it on someone else. So after identifying who are those people that you admire, the book asks you to try to emanate those traits within you, so that you feel that fulfillment inwardly instead of seeking outwardly and perhaps being jealous, because being jealous is a blocked artist thing. So to take away the jealousy, you have to be able to tune into your own traits. How can you enliven what you want and what you see outside of you? Which I think is so powerful, to be able to just connect with yourself more, tune in with who you are, and just kind of learn to really detect what voice you're hearing, what voice you're following. If it's the voices outside, the stimulation that we are constantly being fed. And by doing the morning pages, which I did every day, I'm really good at doing my morning pages. I'm so grateful. I love my mornings, and that's the first thing I do. So it's just been so good to be able to identify those things and recognize. So that was around shame and being able to tap into just how you can bring back your power. How do you tap into your own traits and become that person? Because you feel helpless when you're looking outwards and comparing yourself to other people. But when you are able to tap into who you are and where your strengths are and where your power lies, all of a sudden you feel completely fulfilled, and just like you're making steps and making strides forward, and you just feel like you're living the life that you actually envision for yourself. So I'm already feeling so fulfilled being in this 12-week course. I feel so reinvigorated, just reignited of my own power, with my own power. So yes, I did my morning pages for 7 days. As far as my artist date, this was actually really nice. So I have a typewriter. I purchased a typewriter a year ago, and I completely just put it away and just didn't think to use it again. And being part of getting back into my creative yearnings and hobbies and aspirations, I brought out my typewriter a year later. Around this time is when I bought my typewriter a year later. So how crazy is that, that not really knowing, I was called to my typewriter a year later, exactly. So that was part of my artist date. I just spent a good amount of time in my backyard with the sounds of the birds chirping, the plants around me, just quiet time for me. It was like about an hour and a half of just learning how to use my typewriter because I'm new at this, and just writing letters to myself and adding to my journal because I'm a avid journaler, and I just added like a typed up letter from my typewriter and I just taped it into my journal just as like a reflection of a time in my life, and I want to continue. It just felt so nice to do that for myself. It was really nostalgic, and it just felt like I was writing a letter from some years ago as if I was a different person. It was really, really good. I know that artist dates, Julia Cameron recommends for them to be 2 hours a week, and I did an hour and a half for the typewriting, but then I did half an hour of meditative walking later in the week. So it's been really nice to be able to split the hours how I want and however I feel like is good for me. So cover the morning pages, cover the artist date. After this week was over, I have, honestly, what has been coming up for me is a lot of like the idea of slowing down. I've been slowing down a lot. Why or how? Because I have been on a digital detox. I have not been on Instagram for about a month and a half, and I started that before I started my 12-week course, and I'm continuing to do that. So that really helps me really enjoy the 12-week course. Doing the typewriter was a very nostalgic way of slowing down also, and doing things that people no longer do. Just hearing and the very tactile experience of typing just felt really grounding. And then I've just been allowing myself to really explore my own creative interests. So instead of like trying to copy someone that I feel inspired by, instead I'm like kind of shutting off like ideas from other people and just really tuning into like what calls to me, even though it may be different or I haven't seen it around. It's really allowing myself to believe in my own, like it's okay to like what I like, and that's huge for me to recognize. And then I've been feeling re-inspired to revisit my journal and actually journal. It's been a long time. So I've been journaling a lot this week, for week 3. All these little things, journaling, typewriting, being off Instagram, doing creative explorative work. These are all things that are slowing me down, relaxing my nervous system, really just grounding me and just focusing on my own life. So it's been really nice to slow down. Another big key point on this week is just future planning. I've been so inspired to plan for my future again. I'm just kind of revisiting old yearnings, old dreams that I just kind of put in the back burner for some time, and I'm like revisiting them again with so much enthusiasm. And I pull out because I have different types of journals, but I have a journal for like just daily writing. But then I have a journal for like project breakdowns. So I've been working in this one a lot more, where I'm like visually like kind of writing my ideas down, figuring out what the steps are for each thing, really putting it on a timeline within my life and seeing what realistically can work for me. So I'm really putting it into action, and it feels really good to go there. So I just feel really, really inspired, honestly, to write for my future, just to be creative, to be brave, to hone in on my power again. So that's how it's been, and I've just have been noticing those are like As far as my synchronicities though, because synchronicities is like kind of like a big hot topic in the artist way. And as far as synchronicities, yeah, like the typewriter, I purchased it last year, or in around April or May, and without even really knowing that, I thought about pulling out my typewriter in April a year later. And I think that's pretty synchronous. That there's something there that it just feels like there's a connection there. Like, what are the chances? You know, like it just kind of full circle moment. Also, back to the topic of future planning, I've been thinking about like home ownership and like how expensive it is in San Diego, and how depressing it is looking at the prices, and how it feels like it feels like it's not even a possibility to live in San Diego. And then I started to think about the idea of living outside of San Diego and looking even outside of California, even outside of the US. I've like literally been opening my mind and thinking like, what if, you know, like what if questions, which just feels so empowering, so exciting. Just kind of breaking the mold and shifting the perspective on a little world that sometimes we get so caught up in. So it's just been a lot of like, aha, like, oh wow, I didn't think about this, or let me try something different in a different way. And it's just been a lot of just exploration and honing that power again of myself, and just allowing myself to think and try new things and think in new ways. So very, very cool to recognize that. And it just feels like I have my wings again. It feels exciting. It just, yeah, like and then one more thing about the future planning. I got so caught up and depressed about, you know, not being able to own a home anytime soon. But then I was with my sister, we went for a ride, and then I opened the console, and there was a book from Gabrielle Bernstein. My sister's currently using that book, reading that book, and it's The Universe Has Your Back. I've seen that book. I love that book. I just happened to open it where I was just opened, you know. I always believe in that. When you open a book wherever you want, that is a message for you. And that page talked about home ownership and how she was going through her own struggles about house hunting and feeling depleted and discouraged about a future with a home with her husband. And then I kept reading because I was interested and intrigued that it was very much aligned with my current thoughts and feelings. And then she mentioned that she prayed and surrendered and just let it go, because she was just getting so hung up on the idea and feeling just like there is no hope. So her saying that she prayed and surrendered, it was also like a message to me, like, let me just pray and surrender. Go back to slowing down. Stop getting so hung up. It's good to have a plan, but also let go when you can. And if it's going to be for you, it's going to be for you. And it also said in the book to ask for a sign, which reminds me, I have not asked for a sign yet, but I think I'm going to put that into the next coming week. I'm going to ask for a sign so that I know that I'm being guided by the Almighty, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that I'm being guided as long as I'm putting my work in. I have to be observant and believe that I'm being led. I'm being led into where I need to go. So yeah, it's just been really nice. And I think that was another synchronicity. It's just been all good. It's been all good, and I'm very grateful for week 3 and how I feel. And yeah, on to week 4. Bye.